over the weekend, as we were all consumed with that and grieving the loss of Grant, there was a news blurb that Mike Leach had a serious medical event and had been transported to a trauma center in Mississippi. And every story thereafter over the next few days just got worse and worse. And you were realizing, having to come to grips with the fact that we were going to lose Mike Leach. Now, Mike Leach, for our show, was a huge friend of our show. He joined us several dozen times over his coaching career. We had a direct line to him. There was even a stretch there where we had him on every day.
I would say that was towards the front end of the pandemic, where Mike Leach was down in the Keys, and he was joining us on almost a daily basis.
Yeah, I remember personally a little anecdote, because I whenever I was guest booking the show, I always had a very friendly relationship with Mike Leach, so much so that we would reach out to each other when he took that break in between Texas Tech and Washington State University. And he would reside in the Florida Keys when he wasn't coaching, and we would talk about the Florida Keys, and he'd give me like tips on bars. I always appreciated him. He's one of the great characters in sports. You look back in old videos and bloopers, and these coaches had such great personalities, and over time that's gotten away, but he was always a renegade and did things his own way and always provided exceptional quotes.
He was always a guy that Dan wanted UM to hire as their head coach. He always wanted Mike Leach.
Famously, Donald Trump, before he became a politician, wrote Donna Shalala that the University of Miami should have hired Mike Leach, and it was a big mistake. And quite honestly, it's one of those times Donald Trump was very right about it, because Mike Leach was a stellar coach, an innovative offensive mind. His track record in college offenses speak to themselves. He had one of the great runs with Texas Tech. They were the number one team in the country after winning a primetime game over in-state rival Texas. It was a big Michael Crabtree moment. He was an innovator, and he was beloved because of his way of doing things. He was an oddball. He was quirky. He was a great quote. And the fact that he's not going to be joining this show ever again, or coaching on those sidelines, or being around is really sad, because we all have laughed along with Mike Leach at times, and he provided a lot of great content over the years for our show.
He just got it, man. Like, he got what we're doing, and like, this is not that serious. Let's have fun.
Oh, he enjoyed coming on this show.
No,
because
not even
of that.
just with us, though. Any interview you see with
Right.
him, like, if you ask him a random question, he'll answer it, because he got it. That
Yes,
we're
unafraid.
just, like, it's just like, it's not that serious. Let's have a good time. Like, it's just so sad.
It is sad. He was very good to this show. He was very good to us, and he kind of got the spirit of our show. You when Chris says he got it in just about any interview setting and any environment. But when he came on our show, he was on enough where he kind of knew what we wanted to do, what we were going for, and I don't want to say played along, because
he did.
We'd ask him about aliens.
Yeah.
And he'd give us a great answer.
Mike Leach totally got it. I think some people from the outside might have thought, "Who is this weirdo?" And yeah, he's strange, but
he's in on the joke.
But
he
he's
knows
in on
exactly what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing by being such a quirky oddball, and he knew him rambling would be funny, and he was a really funny guy, and sorely missed by this show. It's a huge loss in college football, and it's a huge bummer. They don't really make them like Mike Leach. And he was such a gifted coach that he survived his personality. He had a certain way of doing things that wasn't for the masses, and yet he got results. Not this extraordinary recruiter, and he had incredible results with these teams because of his brilliance. He innovated offensive football in the late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of quarterbacks were taken high before they knew, oh, this guy just knows what he's doing. He can do that with anybody, and he did. And he was incredibly successful, and it's a damn shame about it, and prayers go out to his family. And obviously it's been a tough season in the SEC and college football altogether. There's tragedies all over the place. Really tough blow for all those kids that he coached along the way, because you could see why players loved him. He was very married to a certain way, and sometimes that got him in trouble. But in terms of our personal experience, I have nothing but the best things to say about every interaction that I had with Mike Leach, and I'm very sad to see him go.
You had text exchanges with Mike when he was in between coaching jobs?
I had text quite
Insanely
often.
jealous of that.
No,
Yeah.
Mike was great. Go back and even early days of Twitter when he was very active on that. He's a good guy. Very friendly. Why would Mike Leach take time out of his day to give you a tip on what dive bar to go to in Key West, what that the locals go to? But he was just that kind of dude. To me, just from personal experience, I had a very friendly relationship with the man. I'm sad to see him go.
Who are you going to ask now if you need a dive bar? Greg? I mean, Greg seems like...
I got a couple.
Well, thanks to Mike Leach. I got a few places there, yeah, and frequenting there. You know, his style definitely, you could see why he gravitated to the Conch Republic down there, because that's where people like him go to thrive and flourish, and he would make his way down there a lot. He was a nomad. He was a pirate. He was obsessed with pirates, and he would give history lessons on pirates, and he just wanted to be around that scene. A lot like Pat Croce, who also kind of made his way down there.
Yeah. Leach was super smart. I think people, you hear him in interview settings and post-game press conferences, and maybe you don't realize, for whatever the reasons are, just how intelligent that guy was. And he will be missed, Mike. You're right, because he was great to this show for many, many years. So our thoughts and prayers to Mike Leach, the family, and may he rest in peace.